Hi, I'm Kyle Randolph. I'm a technical specialist here at JumpCloud in Boulder. Welcome to our onboarding video series.
Today, I will be covering Windows 10 Active Directory migration. This is particularly important if you plan to move forward with JumpCloud and you have a Windows system that's currently bound to an Active Directory domain controller. It must first be unbound from AD, and all domain managed accounts must be converted to local accounts. Now, prior to beginning migration of user accounts, you do want to ensure that you have a backup of that account information. To begin today's walkthrough, I'll be showing you migrating user accounts on the system, followed by unbinding that system from Active Directory, then joining the system into JumpCloud, and finally, binding your JumpCloud user to this system. So let's take a look at what resources I have available here. First, I have my user, George Harrison, who is signed in through a Active Directory domain controller. In addition, I have a list of users, including one George Harrison. It is important to note that I have already used our CSV importation tool to export this list of users from my Active Directory domain controller into JumpCloud and gone through the activation process. If you'd like to see what that looks like, please follow the link provided below. Now, to begin, I'm going to go through the process of migrating that user account for George Harrison to a local user. To do so, I'm going to be using the Forensic tool, which we have also provided linked below. So, I will first sign out of my George Harrison account and sign in to a local administrative account. Once signed in, I'm going to give this migration tool a new local home directory to migrate this information to. So, let's create a new user. Set a password hint. And now you can see that I have my local user account that I'll now open the Forensic migration tool to migrate this domain controller or domain bound user to. I'll select Next, and here I will select my JumpCloud, or in this case, domain bound user, to migrate. And now I'll select the endpoint of that newly created local user. I'll wait for the profile to migrate. Now that I've noted the migration is complete, we'll hit Next and Finish. Now this does force the machine to restart, so we'll go through that process now. Now, I'll continue to sign in with my local administrative account and unbind this system from the domain. We'll choose to disconnect. And once more, go through a power cycle after leaving this Active Directory domain. Now I can see that I have my G Harrison user is still available, to which I can now sign in and verify that all of his account information has successfully migrated over. Now, one important thing to note at this point is that you will want to ensure that all applications and settings successfully migrate with a test user in your organization prior to migrating all of your user profiles in the organization. And in this case, with the Forensic tool, you'll still have the updating process of the applications. So as we go through that here, will be the last step prior to accessing this newly migrated user account. And you can see, now once I've successfully signed in with G. Harrison, I have the desktop background along with his accompanying files that have successfully been migrated over. Further to that, if I open up the File Explorer, I can see in Downloads, Documents, Pictures, Music, and Videos. In this case, I put a placeholder picture that you can verify the same migration process with a test user or with any of the other users as you're moving forward with this migration process. Now that I've successfully unbound the system from the domain and converted this user from a domain-bound user to a local account, we're ready to proceed with installing the JumpCloud agent and then binding JumpCloud with this user account to take it over successfully. So I'll continue the rest of this process by navigating back over to my local account administrative profile. So I'll sign back in. With my local administrative account. And further to that, I will proceed to the JumpCloud console to do the installation of the JumpCloud agent on this system. Further, I will proceed to Systems, select to add a new system. As this is a Windows machine, I will do the downloading of the agent here and copy the connect key. Now that I've successfully installed the agent, we'll give it just a moment to populate its information here into JumpCloud. Now, it is important to note that while I'm installing this JumpCloud agent locally on the system via the administrator's console, we also provide a number of other installation means, whether that be chef recipes, Puppet manifests, or command line installation through another deployment tool. Now I can see that the system is populating into JumpCloud, and I'm ready to proceed with the final step of binding my JumpCloud user, G. Harrison, that I've imported and activated using our CSV importer tool from the Active Directory domain, to this newly JumpCloud joined system. Now, I'll do so via selecting Details, System Bindings, and then I will select this system. Now, it is important to note here at this point that I can choose to maintain George Harrison as a standard user or change him to an administrator. In this case, I will keep George as a standard user and select Save. At this point, the JumpCloud agent is verifying whether or not a user exists on that system with a corresponding username to the one in JumpCloud. If it does match, then we will be taking over that user account as we currently have with George Harrison. To which I can see here or via the command prompt. Now, as a final means, I'll sign in with this newly JumpCloud managed user, George Harrison, using his now, at this point, JumpCloud credentials. And that is the process of moving both the user account from Active Directory into a local user and taking it over from JumpCloud, as well as unbinding this machine from Active Directory.
If you'd like to learn more about this topic, please navigate to our knowledge base at support.jumpcloud.com. Or if you'd like to speak to a member of our team about our platform, please email us at customersuccess@jumpcloud.com. Otherwise, subscribe below to stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.